Hey guys, welcome back to Carnivore Vitality. Today we're just going to be eating some food and talking about a big issue. The number one question, or one of the biggest questions that we get asked is, isn't the carnivore diet just so boring? You just eat the same thing over and over again. Don't you just get bored of it? Doesn't it just get so bland and tiring that it's just, you can't do it anymore, and you can't eat beef, you can't eat butter, you can't eat eggs anymore, it just tastes so bad?
How are you meant to have fun in your life? How are you meant to have fun in your life? You're just eating boring, bland steak. I mean, comment down below if you guys have heard this a lot, and what would you say as well to that?
So yeah, with that topic. Now, ever since I started the carnivore diet, my meals have been 10 times more delicious than they were before. Reason being is because fat isn't something that you should limit. When I cook steak, or when I cook my eggs, when I cook bacon, I never skimp out on the fat. Fat is extremely tasty, especially when used correctly. So when you're browning a steak, a high fat steak will have a better crust. Like butter, dipping things in butter tastes incredible. Fat is something that really brings out a lot of flavor. But before, I'd be trying to restrict this fat, which would make things less crispy, less tasty, the texture would be worse. And now when I eat steak, I can be liberal with the fat. I don't need to be restrictive at all. It's actually way less restrictive than other diets where you might want to try and restrict your fat, which, trust me, makes it taste so much worse.
And also on that point, for most people, I'll tell you what is restrictive: staying in bed with pain, with autoimmune conditions, with depression, anxiety, all these mental issues. That's what you call restrictive. So for me, this has been such a freeing diet. I can eat essentially whatever I want because my body just craves this beautiful food, and I can live how I want as well because I'm not stuck in bed and I'm, actually thriving now.
I think that we crave steak and beef naturally. High fat pieces of meat like this piece of beef is exactly what our body needs to survive and thrive. And I think that there's an innate longing for that food in our body. And I think that's why you don't get sick of steak. On my other videos I've talked about this, how I eat steak probably twice a day. I've been doing so for 3 months now. And I don't get sick of it at all. Every time it tastes just as good. So there's something special about steak. There's something divine about it.
Yeah, I think our bodies are just evolutionary wired to just love what is so good for us and what makes us feel so good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that with sugar though. Sugar tastes good. Does that mean it's healthy for us? Well, I think the main distinction there is sugar makes you feel good temporarily, but in the long term, not at all. So if your brain is working correctly, you can analyze that eating sugar isn't good, even though it might make you feel good right now. If you have any type of brain that understands delayed gratification, you realize that steak is so much better. First of all, it tastes better, and also in the long term, you're going to feel great after eating it. So I think that's something important that's the difference between sugar and other healthy food like steak.
And while at first you may not be enjoying your steaks, or you may still be craving carbs, and you may actually not enjoy your food in the carnivore diet for the first week or two, I think it really just does take some time for your taste buds and your tongue to detox, for your body to also detox from all the toxins that you were eating before. And also, I think the placebo effect is very real. If you feel really good eating food and you know it's good for you, I think you're going to enjoy it even more because it's like you're telling yourself that you're giving yourself all these nutrients, you're going to feel amazing. So you have zero guilt. We have zero guilt right now eating the steak.
No.
We just have zero guilt. Our body will tell us when to stop. It will give us those satiety signals and we'll just stop and we're going to feel great.
Yeah. That's something, you eat till you're full on the carnivore diet. Let me tell you, eating whatever you want, as in eating all the different plant foods, eating the sugars, eating the foods that you love so much and you don't want to give up if you went onto carnivore, those foods you have to eat in moderation. And that's just not how our body works. Our body needs to get as much nutrients as possible, and it stops when we have the required nutrients.
Yeah.
So if you're eating food that is quite deficient in nutrients, such as sugary processed food, your body isn't going to tell you to stop. It's going to be like, okay, keep going, keep going, keep going.
To get them nutrients.
To get the nutrients. But the thing is, these things are completely void of nutrients. So your body's going to keep wanting you to eat more and more. Your body's not telling you what to eat, but it's just telling you to eat more. But what your brain would be telling you is that you need to eat something with nutrients, you know? And you only curb that hunger when you eat something that's high in nutrients, and when your body's like, okay, we've got the nutrients, we can relax now.
Yeah.
You can stop eating or whatever. But
Satiety will be achieved. And have you, personally, I haven't, but have you ever heard of anyone who's overeaten, gotten fat, or binge eaten on steaks?
No.
You can't binge eat on steaks.
If you only eat steak or you only eat eggs, it's impossible to get fat. It's genuinely impossible.
Please comment below if you know anyone.
Yeah. Find me a person.
Find a person
We
who
wanna talk
eats
to them.
steaks without all this crap on it, just salt, good fatty steak, and water. And please find someone who's fat on that.
There probably is somebody that's probably, I don't know.
Probably one, but
There's probably one, but I think it'd be very hard to find someone that could do that. And that kind of goes into our ancestors. Were our ancestors chronically obese with diabetes type 2? No. You know?
look back at the caveman paintings. All of them were lean, shredded, and jacked, holding spears surrounding 10 of them holding spears surrounding one mammoth. I just think people's perception on food is just totally skewed. Food was never seen as a pleasure source. It was always seen as a sustenance and nutritious source. So don't you agree that people sort of need to switch that mindset to view food as nutrition rather than pleasure?
Yeah, 100%. I think I heard someone say the other day, I hope they were joking. They said the only source of pleasure in life is food, and
Yeah, I heard that as well. That's honestly sad.
Yeah, that's genuinely depressing. Like, that actually makes me sad.
And I think
anyway,
we've been there as well. We've been there.
We have.
Like, we're not making fun of it. We've been there, and it's not happy when you're just trying to fill this hole inside of you with just stuffing your face with processed food.
But the hole is bottomless, because the hole to be mended requires nutrition, and if you keep shoving this garbage in there, it's not gonna stop. You know, we're just gonna be able to continually shoving it with garbage. The hole will never be filled, and you feel like, oh, I'm in this never-ending cycle of wanting more food, eating so much, getting fat, eating more food. You know, it's
a horrible.
It's sad.
It's like binge. It's like a binge restrict cycle. You restrict. You eat. You overeat. You eat so much crap. You feel terrible. So then you restrict. Like, I fall into that, and a lot of people fall into it, where you restrict. So then you're deficient in nutrients, and your body says get more nutrients, but you're eating the wrong foods. So you binge again, and then you just keep falling into that cycle. And I mean, have you seen the countless amounts of stories people have healed so many binge eating disorders on carnivores?
Yeah, something I'd like to say is, if you want to binge, have a 400-gram steak and then come to me. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, I'm really craving lollipops, or I'm really craving ice cream. All right, come to me after you've eaten a 400-gram ribeye.
You're not craving it, guaranteed. We can bet money on it. Like, how are you feeling right now after just finishing all that? How are you feeling?
Right, not hungry. Now, if you do want to have the ice cream after eating all that good food, whatever, you can. But let me tell you, the binge will be far less. You won't be just shoving down 1,500 calories of ice cream. You'll be having that meat first, and then you might only have a little bit of ice cream, because your body is like, okay, relax, we already got all the stuff that we need, Yeah, I think with a quote that I've heard before, and I want to echo, is you're only hungry. Oh yeah, you're not hungry until you can eat
red meat or ground beef.
300 grams of ground beef or something. You're not hungry until you can eat half a kilo of ground beef. So
yeah, have you noticed that? Like, sometimes
if you're like, I don't want to eat ground beef, no, well then you're not hungry.
100%.
That's not true.
Because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I really want to cook these sausages, or, you know, have some chicken, some nice chicken like coated. But then you just don't want ground beef, so I just think that you're just not hungry.
You're not hungry, like,
Yeah.
that's just your body telling you, I'm in a habit of eating food and I love eating food, give me food. But you're only hungry when you want to eat the right foods and the ones that are nutritionally dense. But honestly, I find it much more freeing.
So much more.
I'm able to eat as much food as I want. I'm able to put as much fat on my food as I want. I can make it taste as good as I want. And I don't feel guilty ever. I'm eating my food. I'm not in the back of my mind counting the calories on the fork. Do you know how much that messes with your head? It's unbelievable.
Or feeling after that you've got to go do some cardio to burn off the food you just ate.
Oh my gosh.
Always feel that.
Don't even mention it.
Go do some sit-ups or something to, you know.
You know, I'd used to eat stuff and stop before fully satiating because I'm like, oh, I've got to track on my MyFitnessPal. I don't want to get too many calories in.
MyFitnessPal, that's the biggest
I'm going
joke.
to gain fat and I'm not going to look good for summer. Shut up.
Tracking calories is honestly a binge eating disorder. Name one single animal in nature who tracks calories. You don't track calories. You just...
And they don't get fat.
Because they're eating their species appropriate diet.
So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Kind of started, you know, we started talking about... What did we even start talking about? Oh yeah, we started
the one thing that we always hear about the carnivore diet of why it's bad, essentially.
Yeah, we just started talking about the restriction of the carnivore diet, and then we ended up talking about how the carnivore diet
It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
So much more freeing and so much less restrictive than a standard diet, any diet, vegan diet, standard Australian diet, low carb, sorry, not low carb,
Even keto.
low calorie diet, keto diet.
Keto, you got to restrict 25 grams of carbs.
Impossible. That's genuinely impossible. I can't do that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been awesome having you come along. You know, if you like these more longer form, just more chilled out
relaxed videos,
let us know. Yeah, just give us some tips in the comments as well. We really appreciate your feedback. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for all your support recently, and we'll catch you in the next one.
So.